maybe it'd be helpful to start to share a little bit about kind of how I started out. I'm a pediatrician. I still practice. I was in the hospital last weekend. I'm a part-time faculty at Stanford. And before I joined Samsung, I was a full-time pediatrician at a federally qualified community health center in Oakland. And we saw patients who spoke any of 10 different Asian languages with in-person interpretation, new immigrant population with a lot of needs. And this is the 2010, 2015 period where I started to notice that I had patients who didn't have enough money for Christmas presents, but they all had a smartphone, every single one of them. And I think I had this aha that, wow, okay, so we do need our smartphones, not just check our email, but to go to school and to go to work and stay connected. And for my patients, stay connected with loved ones around the world as well as nearby. And I started to realize, okay, I think that healthcare is very complex, very challenging. The needs are tremendous, but I think our patients are starting to show us the way in terms of how we can, in terms of the future. And so I took this career shift to join Samsung because I was interested in trying to figure out how do we improve health in innovative ways and do it at scale. So we'll talk a little bit about transforming health at home, and hopefully I shared a little bit and got a sense for my passion around consumer technologies. At Samsung Health, our vision is to build a healthier future for everyone, and that's through connected care centered around the home. We see the home as the place that should be the healthiest place in your life. It's where you manage your day-to-day health, where you care for your bodies and in your families. It's where you first discover you become sick, right? It's where you want to go to after you're maybe in the hospital. It's where people want to age as they grow older. We saw this definitely during COVID now, where people want to receive care increasingly at home. And we hope to do this through connected services, connected devices, and ultimately through connecting people. And I think those 3 points really speak to the fragmentation that we see today in the patient experience in healthcare, right? Extraordinarily fragmented. But also we're seeing that kind of being mirrored and maybe even multiplied in digital health as we see it, the proliferation of point solutions, that things that don't talk to each other, that don't connect to each other. You talk to any patient or talk to any hospital system, they don't want one more thing, right? They want all these things to work together and for them to connect. And we feel that there's a tremendous opportunity there. Now, our story at Samsung Health begins with the Samsung Health app, which was originally launched about 10 years ago. And it was kind of set up to help guide people in their health and wellness journey, steps, exercise, added on some components on diet, nutrition, maybe some weight management. And then as the wearables became a bigger part, then doing sleep tracking, sleep stages, sleep scores, and et cetera, stress management, and increasingly towards offering value in terms of health and clinical perspectives. And so a few months ago, we launched medication reminders capabilities on the Samsung Health app, as well as the ability to pull down your health records to the Samsung Health app as well. And on that journey, we have started to measure things more than just counting steps. Now we can measure things like body impedance to be able to understand the percentage body water, percentage lean muscle mass, as well as fat in the body, as well as now going through regulatory clearances with the FDA to have the software as a medical device designation for 3 of our features, EKG, irregular heart rhythm notification, and most recently around sleep apnea. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. So the sleep apnea feature is FDA cleared in order to detect the risk for moderate to severe obstruction during sleep. It collects signals around your oxygen saturation as well as accelerometry in order to detect interrupted sleep. The basics of it is that it needs about 4 hours of measurement over 2 days in order to collect that data and in order to come to that conclusion about whether or not you're at high risk. And if you are, then you get a message that says you should really talk to your doctor about this. I'm really proud of the fact that we're able to do this and have the accuracy and the capabilities to have such a high sensitivity and specificity. The aim of this, of course, is so that if you do have moderate to high sleep apnea, then we'll actually pick it up. And that if it is positive, then we can be fairly confident that it's true. So not having a lot of false positives. So then what are consumers supposed to do, or what do they actually do? And this goes back to the overarching theme about consumer technology and the roles that they play. According to this American Academy of Sleep Medicine study, about half, maybe a little over half, of patients, when they get information like this from consumer devices around sleep, that they will talk to they're very likely or very likely to talk to their doctor about it. And that's what's really exciting to me. This kind of, that catchphrase about democratizing healthcare, right? Being able to collect data, understand your health status, the signals around your health from home. Signals that ordinarily you would only collect in the four walls of a hospital, and so rapidly becoming something that can be done at home. And also, and I think a lot of times, I know there's always a focus, whenever I talk to clinicians, the focus is around accuracy. But the other piece that's super, super important is around engagement, right? We know, we'll just pick medication reminders, for example, right? We know that if I prescribe a medication, the likelihood that somebody will complete their course is about 50%, right? In that same way, that engagement is critical to help people feel connected to their health needs, to remind them to do the healthier thing, especially in such a busy world when we're always, where our attention is pulled in so many different ways. So as we're going back to connected care centered around the home, I think if you look at this image, you can kind of get a sense about the different technologies that you may or may not have in your home. There's a refrigerator, there's a vacuum cleaner, there's an air filter, right? Other appliances, we have tablets. As we think about the Samsung portfolio, we also have an IoT platform. Talk about smart rings and watches and et cetera, smartphones. And so, as a physician, what I'm trying to think about is how can I use these as touch points? How can I connect these touch points together to understand health needs, understand our users or patients' goals? How do I help guide them to achieve those health goals, to tie them to care when they may need it, to help them recognize when they have early signals or signs of illness, to help them recover when they get back home, to care for their aging parents or care for their children. And with 500 million devices sold every year, we have 70% of American homes already have Samsung technology in it, and 60 million people who use the Samsung Health application to guide them in their daily health. I think we're in a really good position to start to do some of those things. Now we have a whole host of SDKs coming from the thinking that ultimately healthcare is a team sport. We do have a significant R&D capacity, and we may make a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we can't do this alone. We have to be able to do this with innovators, with other partners, with universities, and et cetera. We have a whole host of SDKs to enable clinical trials, to share data from devices or other apps into the Samsung Health app, as well as pull data from our wearables, pulling raw data signals from our wearables in order to enable a partner's set of solutions. And so there are many ways that we partner. We partner through academic, sponsored academic research with academic institutions, co-innovation and co-development with various research organizations. We have go-to-market partnerships, as well as we also partner in terms of license and more. And so, hopefully this was a helpful introduction for you to get a sense for what we're thinking about. There's a lot of exciting stuff that's coming in the coming months that I look forward to sharing with you the next time we're together. Thank you very much.